So I'm resuming the recording. So what we're going to do now is we're going to talk about how it went. And then if we have time, we might actually go back and coach again. We'll just see. So who would like to share their thoughts on how that went? What that was like?
I can start.
Okay.
Okay, so I think it was actually quite interesting because we got to know so much about each other. What was really hard was sticking to what, why, and how in that sequence, because you have so many questions that you have to stick to what, so you have to frame it in a different way. But yeah, so many times you can't frame it in a different way, so you have to move to a different topic to stick to the what or why or how. But yes, I think it was. I think the moment I stopped thinking about it is when I got the questions, because earlier on I think I was referring to the book, and then I think the book got me distracted, so I moved it away, and then I think the questions started flowing much better.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. All right, JC, what do you think?
Well, I was lucky enough to go second after we'd already seen it modeled, so that was really helpful. And I definitely felt the same way. As soon as I stepped away from the book, it came a little bit more easily. I think having that right in front of me was kind of distracting. I was trying to be ready with my next question, or I was trying to think about how I could reword one of the example questions to make it fit. One of the things that I kind of felt like I was doing was asking the same question multiple times, but in different ways. And I felt like I got different answers though almost every time. Like there was always more, and I was impressed with that. But I think it definitely would have had a different flow if we had been able to mix up questions instead of sticking with the what, how, the why, how format.
Right, and that's just proving the point that, hey, you can't be like sound good and like ask like a certain word, certain question, and like sound good at the same time. Like it's just kind of like proving that point. So thank you, JC. All right, what about you, Sarah?
Yeah, with you guys, like we had some. Well, it was tricky because we have a lot in common, and so I had so much curiosity about how she was going to do all of her things just naturally, and so I felt natural flow was to ask the what question, and then how are you going to, because I'm so curious. So I had trouble sticking with just what for 5 minutes, and then move for them. But yeah, it was a really good experience. I really tried this time to kind of hold back and like not say anything and just let her do the part and just keep talking. And I did that with Robin. I learned so much more. I got even more information, that was really helpful, kind of seeing her perspective. So that was a neat experience. Mm-hmm.
Very cool. And it's very normal that it doesn't feel right, like, or it's like really hard, because it's not how we would normally coach. Like, okay, I'm on my what questions.
Yeah, when you're in process, can you kind of flow between them all? Yeah, right? Like when you're actually coaching, is it okay to do the what and then the how and the why flowing?
You would just do a mix of everything. It would just be based on your curiosity. You don't have to start any question with a certain thing, but you don't want to avoid like do and so, or like anything that is closed-ended or is leading, because like if you say do you feel this way, it's closed-ended and it's leading as well. Robin, what do you think?
I think it was a hard exercise only because we had to stick with the what, the how, the why format, or what, why, and how format. But I definitely got a feel for the pausing, for the not asking the next question right away, for the not. Sarah was fabulous at just not saying anything. And you just kind of keep rolling with it. If she's not saying anything, you're going to keep talking. So I definitely got a feel for that.
Very cool. What about you, Mike?
Yeah, a lot of the same. The structure was a bit of a challenge, but beyond that, the idea of holding space, as you called it, was really interesting. It's a pretty sharp contrast to what I've done through my career, which is consulting and having a lot of answers, in my head that I want to share and direct and teach and all that kind of stuff. Putting that power back in the hands of the person who's speaking. I enjoyed that part of it, and backing off on the amount of words that I'm using and trying to keep things short and sweet and powerful, and letting, for lack of a better word, letting them do the work. So I found that kind of empowering.
Very cool. Yeah, you just be thinking, Mike, especially if you've been in another helping profession or service profession like consulting, it's almost helpful to think, okay, I'm putting on my coaching hat right now.
Right. No, I have to do that. Absolutely have to do that. Yeah.
Yeah, and actually, it'd be cool if we can get you on the Facebook page, because there's actually another class I did that wrapped up a couple months ago, and another consultant who turned wellness coach. And it'd be cool for you to connect with him. Because that was something that was it's definitely a journey to combine them. What were you gonna say?
Oh, I was saying, I would love to connect with that, because it's a different journey. It's a shift.
Yeah. Well, in anything, like we all have had different careers besides coaching too. So it's a new hat, new set of skills.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's a good one.
That's cool that you felt that it was empowering, because sometimes, especially like I've done a lot of mentoring too. It's like sometimes it's like, oh, I have to say something, I want to give advice, but it's amazing when they find their own answer. And it's like, this is really cool. It really works.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thanks, Mike. All right, Ed, what are your thoughts?
So again?
What are your thoughts on the exercise that we just did?
Yeah, it's very interesting. I just could not understand the steps, because now after you told me the purpose, it's more clear for me, because doesn't make sense for me 5 minutes in what, 3 in why, in 5 in how. If you don't mix this, the communication doesn't have a meaning. I don't know if you make me clear.
Yeah, you're clear.
Yeah, we need to make a mix of combination of the questions. It's not what, and how, why. But I understand you. I understand the purpose. It's powerful.
Yeah. So now that you understand how it feels to I have to ask these questions for this long. Now you know how wonderful it is to be free and be I can ask whatever I want, and it can start with whatever I want to start it with.
It's much better when you mix it up. The question is much better. It's more natural,
Exactly, and that's why it's showing that if we put certain parameters, I have to ask this a certain way. It's hard to be a good coach and ask a good question at the same time. Or something that starts with a certain word. So you're right. It should feel more natural.
Yeah.
Asia, what are your thoughts?
That was a fun challenge for me. The structure was a little different, like Ed was saying, but overall, it was nice. It's hard to come up with powerful questions, because you might think that how people say, "Oh, I have a dumb question." You're like, "No, there's no dumb question." But when you're doing this, you're like, "Oh my gosh, wait. Is that a dumb question?" You're like, no. You gotta have a powerful question, and you're second guessing yourself. But it was definitely a fun challenge.
Yeah. And Asia, do you mind if I share real quick just how I asked you to?
Sure.
So it was interesting because Asia felt stuck for a minute, and so I was like, "What are you curious about? Just forget the word, and what are you curious about?" And then she had the perfect question and ended up starting with the right word as well. But it's interesting. I thought that was really cool, Asia, that you got to see that you had the perfect question right there. It's just sometimes when we put that pressure on it, then it blocks us.
Yes.
And I'm gonna totally admit that I literally said to Asia, "I'm gonna cheat now." Because it's just not natural to say I'm gonna ask this and this, and it's so hard to go against the grain of just being curious. So it was a lot of fun. So we're gonna go back for 10 minutes, so 5 minutes each, and you can ask whatever you want. So you can really contrast that feeling of just being really curious. So you can pick up the conversation where you left it off, but just that practice of like, I'm just gonna be really curious and ask whatever I want. Sound good?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna go back for 10 minutes and then we'll have time to wrap up together.